Yeah, welcome, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks as well.
Finally, I've made it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, finally.
I'm sorry. Like, it was supposed to be October, Independence Day.
No, but that's also the thing is we're trying to fit into people's schedules.
Yeah.
Because most of the people first look at the view thing. They're like, first.
I don't care about views.
Yeah, I mean that's a really interesting thing. That's like some of us.
Things have to start from somewhere.
True. That's exactly what we try to explain. That hey, come, we start with you.
You want me to be the first?
Yeah.
No, I think for me the only reason it couldn't happen in October, especially that weekend, was I was actively promoting the album. So that Saturday we had an event. You know, at Meet Guy. We had an event, so I was telling Mark, I was like, "Come on, man."
Today is not the best.
And then all the other times he's telling me Friday at 5 p.m. I'm like, no one is driving to Chanjo at 5 p.m. What time are you leaving? You know, but at least we're here.
Yeah. No, true.
We're here.
What is that process like of promoting? Is it more work than actually recording the album?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's recording is easy because it's something that you love to do. It's personally, I'll speak from my position. It's like it's something I love to do.
Yeah.
I love to record. I love getting in, failing to get a verse right, doing it again, getting in, failing to get a flow right, doing it again, and all that type of stuff. But then it's also something that you've recorded on, you've worked on, recorded, written for a while. So now you finally get to say it. So that's easy, right?
I see.
It's easy. You're collaborating with friends. You're in the studio with a producer, the energy, everything. It's dope. Promoting.
I imagine.
Promoting is tricky because also it's you have to get the right times. At times you can promote a song and it's a miss. As in you're promoting something and guys are really not feeling it, but you're trying your hardest and it's just really not working.
I see.
So you have that problem. But it's just promotion is hard, but it's good because I think the dopest part about the promotion is the feedback, because you then get to know, hey man, we're onto something with this. For me personally, with my last album, the Ugandan, what I did, which was unique, was we didn't release a single. So there was nothing. It was just 16 songs.
Yeah.
You know, and the best thing about that, which I noticed, I don't know if I'll do it again, but the best thing about that, which I noticed, was people gravitated. So the song that we thought this is going to be the first song, it was absolutely going to fail if we had done that. Because everyone else is like, oh no, this other song is, you know. So, but we learned, we met up with the fans. Their support is always. I think I would rather that promo than the other promo when it's like, where you're not meeting the fans. You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather, when you meet the fans, it's like, these are the people who consume the music.
Yeah.
These are the people, radio, television, they're going with what you've given them. But the fans, they're going with what they like, if they like it, and all that type of stuff. So
I see. Oh yeah.
It's so layered with promo though. It's hard.
And how have you done this with no COVID, like with the lockdown?
Okay, so when we released the album, what we did was we released on September 24th. When I released the album, my team was like, we're just going to do radio.
Yeah.
So September 24th was a Saturday. So we released it online. So at midnight exactly, it was online and people were just vibing to it from wherever they were vibing from, which was amazing. And in the morning, radio. Right? Now, on October 9th, remember at that time we still have this curfew.
Yeah,
I shouldn't
yeah.
put that in
True,
quotes,
true,
but
true, true.
we still have this curfew. But also we've
You
been
can
allowed,
organize something, yeah.
200 people and that type of energy.
Ah.
So what I did with Meat Guy, he came up and said, hey, let's buy a couple of copies and give out to the fans. Come with a couple of CDs. Let's just do a thing, which is just, so I think he calls it support my hustle. I went there and it was dope because I think I was like the fifth person who had done that support my hustle thing. So by then it had caught on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had a nice momentum with the album and everything that we had done in lockdown. So yeah,
So this is more like a listening party sort of thing where you go
yes.
and actually you get to meet the people
yes,
themselves. And
exactly.
Nice,
we
nice.
we just vibed. We had speakers all over playing the music,
Oh, nice.
which was really good. That was really good because on our table we had this. We on our table we had to listen to the whole album because I think guys were like, let's respect the guy. Let's not choose our favorites. But then on other tables you could hear people just listening to
the
different
songs they want.
variations, and they're like, oh, so you like that?
Oh no, I see. Wow, that's
yeah.
that's it. Even for me as a fan, I think I would have.
Yeah,
enjoyed
no,
that.
I was super interested in. I was like happy about that. We lost a speaker, damn it, but this guy's nicked it. but
Well,
but
you
it was
gathered that
it was
is
lit. I was
expected.
happy about the feedback, the turnout, and just everything that happened that day. It was really really dope. Yeah.
So the music itself, by the way,
Yes.
we already hinted on this before. What exactly are you saying? So the theme for the album, from my perspective, is it's a country thing. You're sort of.
So I don't know if it's like a country thing. It's my thing in a country. It's like I'm the Ugandan, right? Also my brand is I'm So UG, but we felt like I keep saying Mr. So UG, but we hadn't properly dived into that character.
I see.
Like with that, you have what's his name? J. Cole has an alias, another one, Edward something.
Kill Edward, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he said he's going to do a whole album
When
as
it's
that.
featuring
Yeah.
Kill Edward. No, I see.
So it's he has realized, hey, this is something to dive into, right? So also when I hadn't recorded an album. I hadn't released an album in 4 years. I wasn't like really in the groove of it. I was releasing singles though, in that period. But we said, hey, why don't we tap into this project, this character, this Mr. So UG thing, this some So UG brand that we've built. Why don't we tap into it, and see what we can do like properly with it?
Yeah.
And the dopest thing about that was working with the producer I worked with, who is Cause and Effect. When I told him about it, actually when I told him about it, I was in Nairobi. I called him at like maybe 2 a.m. I don't know why producers pick up my calls at that time, but he was gracious enough to pick up my call. I called him and I said, hey, wanted to do this album 100% exclusively produced by you, and it's called The Ugandan and everything. So when I came back, I went to his studio, and the first thing that he had, I went with the Last King of Scotland soundtrack, right, and movie. I was like, yo, there's this Uganda.
Yeah.
There was just something about that energy that I always liked when I watched that movie. And so I played that. I said, hey, we can chop this. But then we also had the soundtrack itself of the movie, and all these sounds. They were just, they actually just interludes of just instrumentation.
Right.
Yeah. So like from the movie itself, and you're like, okay, so we have this. Then he said, okay, that's cool, but I have this. Then he played me this album of Ugandan poets from like the 60s. I don't even think it's an album. Let me stop calling it an album. It's a recording of these poets around the fire, and they're just drinking and speaking vulgar and cracking jokes, but they're saying all this in poetry.
Yeah.
They're talking politics, they're talking all this, and he played it, and I was like, oh my goodness. And it's in Luganda with the drums, the traditional drums behind it. You know, when also for us, when that happened, we felt like, okay, so we're on the right path. You know, so we just started creating it, and luckily we got the album out. So it's my story as the Ugandan.
I see.
So it's the album cover is my grandmother carrying me as a baby, right? And she also features on the album. So many people thought she sampled on the album. She actually features on the album, right?
How did you manage to get her to the studio, or did you bring?
I didn't. No. First of all, she's too expensive. She's too expensive. She's an expensive artist. We can't do that. No. So my brothers and I, my mother is from Tororo, Butaleja, Kangalaba, right? And my brothers and I have this thing where when my grandmother is outside for a long time, we say, hey, let's go have lunch with her. So jump in the car, drive over, have some lunch, come back. But whenever we do that, she has these songs she sings for us. She's always sang for us. And one of them is Boagi, Boaga, Boaga Magumba, which is Break Your Bones. It's the Amabega, the dance from the tribe. And so she sang it. I had my phone, and this is like literally, it's so weird because she does it so much. I had my phone there, and I was like, I wanted to record it. Then she started singing, and I was like, oh man, snap! I got my phone. I'm like, where is it? So I record her. And the first recording, she's like, deka. She's coughing. She's like, she's a judge. But then the second one, she got it right. So when we're done, it's just a small soundbite. When we're done, I sent the stuff to Samurai, the producer, Talent Africa. I said, yo, just keep this for me. He's like, what the hell is this? I'm like, just you know, so I came back, went to studio with Cause and Effect, and we created the beat for that. And when we had the right beat, we went with it to Sam, and I said, that thing of my grandmother, let's see it.
I see.
So
Wow.
he then chops it up nicely for us and brought it to life. So yeah.
When I listened to the first time I listened to the album, for me the first impression I got is this guy has got a gig from Ministry of Tourism. that is the first impression I got, and I think, you know, now it had the authenticity. And when I was in school also, like, hip hop was my thing, right? And it sort of fit me that, you know, if hip hop was a Ugandan thing, this is how it should sound, right? It had the authenticity that it's supposed to represent the culture, right? And that is not, especially today, you know, today you have to be a little bit gimmicky to get that attention. Yeah, and the album had that authenticity, the Ugandanness, you know. That's why for me the impression was like,
He has a
this guy is going to studio to spend his money to bring out something that is, you know, for the National Theatre, you know, that is music for...
That's not a bad idea. Hey.
No, but true. I feel like it does say that, you know, it does say that. And it's also like the kind of hip hop that people who have listened to hip hop elsewhere would understand. And then they can also connect with the culture and the Ugandan thing in it. Yeah, and that's where we have...
And we want even recording music for that. We want recording the album for that purpose. My father is a Muganda. My mom is a Munyole. I said it on A Mama, wherever you want to go, from Boyogerere, where my dad is from, all the way to Tororo. It's like, it's always been in my music, right? So it's not like I'm chasing a specific thing or whatever. Yeah. That's just, you know,
I see.
That's just it. I'm like, also, it just felt, for me personally, it felt like this was the right time for me to tap into that that side of me, like, properly, because everyone feels like, hey, another discussion that happens a lot with, especially with hip hop, which is weird. I feel like it's only this discussion is only had with hip hop, where it's like the language used, right? So with my team and I, they're like, but you guys, man, so much English or whatever, forgetting that one of Navio's biggest songs is Ngalo One of my biggest songs is Boss Va. Whoa. You know, so okay, if we can't say it in the language, if we can't say it well in the language, how about we take these stories of ours, our stories? How about we take these stories and put them in the music? You know, so for me, I felt like, I mean, 4 years without recording, am I going to come back and do the gimmicky music, which is popular, or am I just going to do my thing? Because you haven't heard from me for 4 years. I can come back in and do whatever the hell I want to do. So for me, that's why I was just like, you know what? Let's record music we love. Cause and Effect is also very uncompromising with his sound. He's such a hip hop producer.
Yeah, but that was,
you know, Samurai. How Samurai mixes and masters stuff is just like on a high level, you know, and he's working with, in December, was it December? No, not December 2019. 2019, yeah, I think it was December or November. Him and I were talking, and I couldn't get him in studio because he was doing a project with Alex Mukulu. But each time he came from those sessions, he would be like, yo, you know, like whatever was happening that side, his mind was just blown. And Sam is one of those guys who is like, he's extremely talented, He makes beats for his video games so he can have his own soundtrack
I see.
while he's playing a video game. You know, so his sounds are just like world class, really. You know, so for him to take that knowledge and then for us to come with this album and say, hey, what can you add to this? Is like, okay, let's boost these traditional drums. Let's take out. Man, he took that album so many layers. So for me, it was such a dope collaborative process that's the album I had to come back with.
No.
You know, not a gig, it's just the album I had to come back with.
And the other impression it gives, sort of, and this I thought of again because we have this COVID thing, but the impression it gave is how the, what do they call it? The show, the performance at a stage, you know, how that looked like. Because in my head, I was already imagining, you know, this whole
my good lord
overloaded culture thing.
My
on the
good
stage.
lord, I can't say we have a great idea. Also, I think me collaborating with Lillian and Babazi has made me look further than just the song. You know, like when working close with, I have two of the best people in the industry that I work close with. I have Navio and I have Lillian, right? So with Navio, it's like you record the song, but record it with this visual in mind.
Okay.
You know, like
I've seen his videos. So I know.
Like how, where are you taking this? How far do you want to push this, right? Then with Lillian, you record it, but how do you want it to sound when you're performing it? Because it's great that we can use DJs and all this, but how about you get that DJ and you get that band and like bring it together, and the scratching and the drumming and the horns, and so also us, we have a great listen, man,
I'm wondering,
if this guy can open the country, it's over.
And that is one of the things when I listen, and again I'm a little bit biased because when I was in school, that's my kind of hip hop, you know. Sort of you have the sort of R&B hook within 3 verses, you know. That is my kind of music. But when I listen to it, I'm like, if this guy made a restricted show, you know, you don't have to call the crowds, for people who understand this for a higher price, I'll probably be one of the people who'd want to pay, because I imagined, you know, this is one where if I got disappointed, I would have my article for criticism would have specifics of what I thought it should have been. It would have been very.
And I think that was one of the reasons why I made sure it was engineered by Samurai and produced by Cause and Effect, because Cause and Effect already, his beats sound like a movie. Sam is going to really put it in the movie. You know, so it's like I listened to my album. I listened to it quite a bit, which is weird, right? Because usually when I'm done with an album, I'm like,
really?
I'm too critical. You know, but this one, I listened to it. I was listening to it when I drove here. I listened to it, and for me, it's just, damn, man, I need to drive to Gulu I need to go to Gulu listening to this album. Because whatever energy, I love Gulu. Because Gulu has, like, I feel like hip hop in Uganda is 100% well represented. The capital city.
Really?
Hip hop.
Really?
Yeah.
Record saying this.
Yeah, no. I think
Yeah,
I think
true,
every
true,
hip hop act will say that.
Oh, okay.
I feel like their energy, their love for hip hop is incredible. It's incredible. You know, I've performed everywhere, but that's the only place I've performed where I performed in the rain
Oh.
at 2 a.m. for 45 minutes. The Navio came
Because the
on
vibe was
after for an hour, and the crowd was wilding out with us. So it's they win.
I see. Yeah, that's
You know, so
interesting.
in my head I'm like, I'd love to go there with this album and figure out how to do that performance you're talking about there. Because I know they will understand
Yeah,
it. I know they
and
will
they'll
appreciate
appreciate
it.
it. Yeah,
And then also bring it here to those who understand it and those who appreciate it. Definitely, I'd love to do that. That's for sure.
And in terms of time frame, you know, how long is this project kind of taking, you know, for you? And, you know, like from the first idea, or from the first time you decide and say, maybe I have enough research or ideas on me. I don't know how this music thing works. Like, I imagine like a normal job, you first collect a few pieces of data and then you say, now I'm ready to start building the project, you know. How long does it take for you?
This album took 3 years, but it's different, right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I came up. I said I want. We're in Nairobi. When we're in Nairobi, we were there for. What were we there for? Because it was myself, Navi, and Flex. Anyway, it was some work stuff that we were doing,
Okay,
and
because that's what I was curious about.
and you know, I think just being in Nairobi, being around other creatives, and because the people we were with, Aniko, she put us in every room that we had to be in. As an artist, she put us in every room. So there's this one night we go back to the hotel, to our apartment. Sorry, we go back to our apartments, and I'm like, yo, damn, I need to record. Then Navi was like, well, see, record. But I said I didn't know how to come back. I didn't know if it was with a single or with an album. And he's like, what do you, but he says, but you have all these singles floating around, because at that time we had Come On Over, Buster Shot with Natty Nathan. You know, there were just singles with me just floating around. So he's like, you know, Something Amazing with Jacinta was also out. There were just so many songs. And he was like, I think you come back with an album. So I said, if I come back with an album, I record it 100% with one guy. He's like, so do it.
Wow.
He's like, he said, I have, what did he say? He said something about me just managing to craft this space for me where I am able to do my own thing. I think because on my second album, Destination Africa, on the release party, we got up and performed songs no one had heard.
I see. Yeah.
Like we did draw from anything. Just like, and he was like, how do you do that? I'm like, see, guys have come to listen to new music, a new album. So I've given them the new album.
The new music, yeah.
You know, so we had that. So that's when I called Cause. But when I came back, I had to fall in line with Cause's time, Cause and Effect's time. My time also, I had to free up some space. And we also had to then figure out what the album was, right? So that probably took like a year.
Oh, wow.
Of us just like going back
Yeah.
and forth, and he sends me a beat and he's like, yo, what do you think about this? And I just write some just raps and record it and just put it out, and it has nothing to do with anything, you know. So when we figured out what it was like, all right, cool. I joked about it, actually. I said, yo, the Myth as the Ugandan. And the more I joked about it, the more I was like, yo, why don't I actually do this album?
The Uganda.
Yeah, the Ugandan. So I was like, cool, forget it, let's go.
Wow.
Then it went from that. But then we had a year where I got into a car accident.
Oh.
Not a year, some time when I got into a car accident, and for like maybe like, so we started we fell back into recording 2019 like Feb.
Oh, I see.
That's when we like really got back into it, like, all right, let's go back. And I had some songs were rewritten, and You know, everything was like reworked on. Then once we got back in 2019, we just one time,
Oh, I see.
just recorded.
One of the and again the reason I was curious about the time frame is one of the songs that picked my mind was the jazz sax. Is it? I don't know what they call the instrument.
Oh, the sax. That's Wangu Peke.
Yeah, that one.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So
That-
like, is this? Are you having like a jazz band in the studio? How does that work?
No,
How does
no.
that? I, like
That's Joseph Sachs. He's incredible
I
guy,
see.
incredible talent. But that song, so you see how that song starts? It's a Afrobeat song. Then Samurai and DJ Chapat start vibing, and at the end it turns into a house song. So we just had it as a house song and an Afro beats, but I was like, yeah, but when it goes to that house part, I can't rap on it because I want people to vibe to it.
Yeah.
Eli can't sing on it because we just want people to vibe to it, but it needed something. So I was doing an ad. I was doing a voiceover ad for Live Music Vaults, which is an event that Talent Africa used to have with at Exo Lounge, and it later went to, what's the thing? Damn. Next to Sky Lounge, former Sky, whatever.
Celio, is it?
Cielo, yeah. So I did the thing, and on it that day I was saying Michael Wuma, but I had just done a song with Michael Wuma. Then I said Joseph Sachs, and I was like, yo, who's Joseph Sachs? And Samurai played something of his. I was like, oh damn, that's smooth. I'm like, how do I get to him? Then he's like, Julie's the manager. Julie works at Talent Africa. So it was right there. So I told her, hey, Julie, I need Joseph Sachs for something. She's like, what's up? So I played the song, and I said on this part, the ending, all the way to the end, I just want him to go crazy. She's like, cool. I leave. I get back to studio on Friday, and Sam is like, oh, Dick. I'm like, when did he come in? Is it? You know, so that was different. But even the song "Welcome to UG" with Giovanni Shinji, that was just Giovanni. That was one person on those traditional drums, and that was Giovanni alone. He came with a bag because I know he plays 28 traditional instruments. Ugandan traditional instruments.
Wow.
So they actually kicked me out of that session. Him and Sam.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I felt from and the person I can compare you to when I listen to this album. And again, I'm still very impressionable because I've not maybe had like listened to it over and over. But the thing is, it felt like there was work put in it. You know, this is a difference from listening to some singles. You know, even if they're hits, you feel like you could imagine this was like 2 hours in the studio and. Putting some Fruit Loops on it and then getting it out. But it felt to me like there was work. There's that Ugandan film. Lookman, exactly. Like when you watch Lookman's work, you appreciate how much effort he has put in. And for me that's sort of the impression I got, that these guys have actually
even
put in
on
the work
level,
right? put in the work. That is the impression good. It's not often by that you see Ugandan art where someone will pay that, and it's local. Sometimes someone can do good work, but it doesn't feel local. It feels foreign, right? And your work felt, it's authentically Ugandan, but someone can still hear that work. And so in terms of, I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it, but in terms of money, this is good work. How much does it cost to make work like that? Like in terms of,
I thank God that with the guys who I collaborated with, like, it was something that had been built for a long time. Giovanni and I first ever met at a Blankets I was performing at, and he was performing at Blankets and Wine. He was the artist right before me. I was the last act from UG. It was a December thing, I think 2017. So that's when we met. And I kept wondering, why is he taking so long to get off stage? Now the DJ is just playing, and they were like, oh, he has 28 instruments that he's unplugging. I was like, what? Who played with him? And they were like, Didan was like, no, he played alone. I'm like, no way. So just off that, I just had to meet the guy. Joseph Sachs, it was, like I said, it was just me talking to Julie, the manager, thought it made sense. So all these things, I feel like it's helped by the fact that we all have relationships that we've been trying to. we- G- Giovanni and I actually, after that, we met in Moroto. We had a performance in Moroto, and he wanted to record there.
Oh.
But when we got there, the time we got there, we just had so much press. We couldn't find time just to like break off and work. But he wanted to work then, so it's just something that's been building for years. So when I called him for this, I said, "Hey, the studio session is today." He said, "Perfect, let me come." You know, Talent Africa has allowed us to run around in the studio like madmen. You know, so these are just things that we just truly appreciate. But of course, I mean, the cost behind it, it costs. It costs.
Yeah,
It costs. It costs quite a bit.
But from I think what you're saying is the social capital is also
Yeah, that's
significant.
very important. I think it's just the one thing that I also tried to build on. There were artists on there. Like when I sat down and I said, "Who do I want to work on?" There were artists on there I had to get. I had to get Yvonne Nabeta. There was nothing. I just had to get her. You know, I had to get Benazeri. Benazeri had, I don't think he was recording. I don't think he is recording
Music now.
right? Yeah. So, but when I called him, I said, "Yo, bro, this song Butaleja Yamunyole." He said, "Don't worry, let me come." You know, so it was those things that we just had to get. I had to get Severe. He's fallen back from recording. I had to get it. I had to get Judas. I had to get, you know. So I just called these guys and I said, please." You know, and luckily they were open to it. They also understood that it was different because aside from the song with Judas Rap Knowledge, So Severe and Big Ben, it's one song. And there's a song with Tucker. Apart from those two songs, I'm the only one rapping on the album. All the other acts, I just needed them for a chorus.
Yeah.
You know, so it was something unique. Benazeri, I needed him. His Lunyole is better than mine. It's his mother tongue, right? So I needed him just to like champion the song, and you know, so he came through perfectly. You know, so all those things. It's literally like just me calling in a favor. I know they know whenever they need me. It's just
I see. Okay.
you return serve.
Yeah, and not about making the money back. And also now that
Now that we're in this, in this
we're in
space, you know, it's so funny. I wasn't like heavy on streaming. I didn't know streaming. It's like from a CD era, my God.
These are things for the children.
Yeah. But then I kept seeing stuff, and I'm just happy. Like I'm surrounded by the right people. Like even Tucker HD, I'll talk to him and I'll be like, "Hey," and he'll be like, "Oh no, this is who I use. This is what you do." You know, so they guide me also. Same way they'll come up to me and say, "Hey, dude, which press guys do I go?" And I can hit up a few friends of mine and say, "Hey, dude, this is," you know, they'll do the same for me with that type of stuff. There's that. Also, Ugandans still buy CDs. So initially I wasn't going to do CDs, but we thought about it. And Navio was like, because remember Navio last year released in March. So I said, "Yo, what's up with the CDs?" He's like, "Oh, you better do CDs."
Oh.
Before I even asked him that real question, he knew what I was saying. He's like, "You better do them." You know, so I was like, "Oh, okay." We sat down, did the CDs, and sure enough, it was a great idea. You know, all that type of stuff. But then also we're looking into, I mean, we're talking off air, we're looking into just creating our own platforms and spaces where we can just put this music out and do our own shows and all this type of stuff. Because I feel like, first of all, if I'm being a little serious, it's like hip hop is like being put on the back burner in Uganda, which is weird to me because for the last 8 years, it's the only music genre that's been putting out the best content or the most noticeable content.
True.
You have to go back from Fire to Ngalo to Keko to like everyone, GNL, who is just been exploding everywhere, right? The last few years, bro. You have Thick, you have Trill, you have Fefe, you have It's just madness.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So for me, I'm like, but then somehow you sit down and people will be like, yeah, but hip hop. I'm like, are you mad?
Yeah.
No,
true.
If hip hop wasn't all that, why do you still feel like these guys still have to do songs with us guys?
Yeah.
Like if we want there, why do all your big artists have to do a collaboration with a hip hop act? Right? So I just felt like, man, I feel like these guys have just forgotten what to actually do, which is put out quality music. So instead of crying, government is too young there. Instead of doing that, how about we just go and fix it ourselves? So
True.
there's a few platforms my friends and I are creating. Last year, one of them was the Eno Hip Hop Festival, which is Flex the Paper's idea. It's a hip hop festival. But we came together and helped him out. This year, you're going to see something from me. Next year, there's something from Navio. But these are platforms that are for hip hop.
I see. Yeah, and at university, I used to work with some guy. He's, I think, a professor in, New York University. Okay. I forget which specific university, but somewhere in the US. And he was building this project for broadcasting in a bucket, right? It's called, I think, Root.io. And basically you can, and this is where we're also going to go with sort of the podcast. Again, these are things we are looking for in the future. We are looking to in the future. Okay. And you have, say, like what we're doing right now. You just have an Android phone that does sort of the whole radio management thing in it. And you have a bucket that has special equipment that can actually broadcast. You know how people plug those things into radios, into cars, and then you can broadcast to your radio. Yeah. So something similar to that. And you can, so if you want to say, if your equipment is strong enough, you can broadcast it to everyone just around Chanja here. You know, it's not something big enough that you need UCC to give you a band, sort of that wave thing. And, you know, for me, it seemed like, especially places away from Kampala, that is a big alternative to the internet. You know, how do you sort of, say, even launch music or stream music remotely, you know, without meeting people? And that's definitely, if you, when you guys are, if you're interested, we can talk a little bit more about.
No, we're definitely
true.
These are some conversations. Yeah, no, this is dope. So that's a great idea.
One of the other things, when I was talking to Santana recently, you know, one of the other things he mentioned, you know, Santana also considers himself strongly hip hop musician, you know. So because definitely when I was having the conversation, I mistakenly categorized him as a raga musician. I was like, whoa.
No. I think it's the choice of production he chooses, but Santana is a rapper.
Exactly. He made that extremely.
Yeah, he might just be on this song, but he's a rapper.
And you know, when he mentions that dancing is a big part of Ugandan culture, right? And he knows that he has to target people who enjoy dancing in his music, and that is why sort of this sound is geared. It's sort of geared to that. Yeah. And know that's also one of the things that I was wondering. You know, like don't you think about that a lot when you're thinking about how you want to create the music? Yeah.
No.
Oh, I see. So it's
no. I won't even lie. There are times when I'll go to the studio and I'm like, man, I want to catch a groove.
Right? Ngalo was still a banger thing.
But you see, the thing about Ngalo was Ngalo. The thing about it was like, it's first of all, it's a hip hop song. Only. True. But I think the thing about it was we hadn't heard that. We hadn't heard that.
Okay. That makes
at that time, we hadn't heard it. Ngalo.
Okay, true.
Everything about it, we hadn't heard it. But personally, but then we know Navio. He likes to catch a groove here and there. There are times when I'm just like, I have this. I think that's why my album did very well. It's doing very well for me. It's because we don't have that avenue to dance from right now. Oh well, last year, early last when I released it, they were really being strict. You were being caught. You were, So I think because of that, people listened to my album more and appreciated it more because I was saying some real stuff. You know, I was saying some stuff on the album. But then there are times when, like the song you're saying with the saxophonist. That one. Listen, that day, I'm at a bit high. I'm at a bit lit. You know, and I was just like, listen, let's find our way to the dance floor.
I see.
And that's it. You know, but but initially, like my first thing, I don't go to studio saying, "Hey Sam, cause let's make a song to dance." No, no.
To dance. Yeah.
They'll probably like be like, "Oh, listen to this," you know. Yeah,
I see.
it's not my thing.
So the what? The thing that for me again, the impression I like, and I'm not big at dancing as well, but it's the driving thing. You know, music I can drive to.
Drive to, yeah.
That is the music I like, because you know you can't. There's music you can only listen to when you're sort of in a very loud place, but then those moments when you need music, you know, when you're just there alone, that music can't come through.
Also, I feel like most times, I shouldn't say all times, most times, or at times, the music that we dance to, next week we don't want to listen to.
Yeah, that's also true. That's also entirely true. Yeah.
Like how you said you want to hear it in a loud place, you want to see the girls dancing to it. Away from there, you don't want to listen to that song.
Yeah.
You don't want to listen to that song. So there's also that thing with it. I'm also just trying to like to leave music behind that can be put up like, hey, I need to listen to hip hop from UG. Oh, what? Here's the Myth. You know, like that's what I'm trying to leave. Right? Some guys, yeah, you have all this great stuff, but like, you know, I don't see people saying, hey man, listen to this guy's new song, or you know. So I just want people to just talk about my stuff to other people.
I see. What is one of the things, and I'm going to geek out a little bit here. One of the things that's coming up in the tech world, right, is this thing called NFT. Something like non-fundable token. It's a weird thing. But what happens is you can create a digital asset, you know, something like your music, say your album, and you actually sell a real digital copy that's authentically, you know, the way you would have a record, like sort of like maybe a CD that's a certified CD.
Yeah.
That same way, so that is coming. And one of the, right now, rich people are still playing around with it. I think one of the things they've sold was this guy, the Twitter, Jack Dorsey, his first tweet. So he made it into that token, and it's now being bid for more than $2 million. But so yeah, besides like rich people playing around,
just like give us that money, man. Give us half of that money. Let's get to work, man.
Like there's also hope there in how distribution is going to change, right?
Yeah.
So when you make, say, an album, you can specifically say how many copies you want out, right? Because it's hard to, like, you can't copy the thing, right? You can't copy the token. You know, you say, I create one token to, you know, everyone who buys a copy of your album buys their own token of it, and they own it. And if someone managed to, you know, copy stuff and put it on Pirate Bay somewhere, you can know that this is a copy token, and so you can look for the specific guy. I feel like, you know, the future of music, where again, musicians now don't have to worry about, you know, how do I get people to dance so I can get them on a concert, right? How can I now make like real music that I also would listen to if I really wanted to listen to music?
That's great. I feel like, man, you see how you're talking about technology. For me, I wait. You're in it because like you're saying geek out, so you're a tech guy. For me, I honestly wait because I feel like every day there's something.
True.
Every day there's something, but I feel like it would be dope to have some more protection for the creators. It's very important. It's like, you know, like how are weddings allowed but you're not allowing performances? You know what I'm saying? It's like it just feels like we're the bottom of the food chain. But then when we want to run a campaign, we have 400 million for this. So it's like, why is it that way? Why aren't we looked at as a priority and catered for the right way and everything? I feel like it would be dope when we get protected 100%.
I see.
100%. I'm for that. I'm for that. We were talking earlier, and I'm for that. I'm like, yo, my guy, I want us to be first. It's like I want us to be first.
There's going to be a walk on. There's going to be a walk to Parliament by musicians scheduled for the 18th. I don't know if you've heard about it.
No.
So there's something is coming. Just FYI, so you should know. Musicians are planning
on 18th.
So 18th is when the lockdown started last year, and they feel like a whole year when the government hasn't come up with a specific plan about how they
Yeah.
want them to make money. It just doesn't make sense. It feels like, again, musicians are being ignored. And on 18th, there's going to be a
That's next week,
demonstration
Thursday.
basically, and the plan is to walk peacefully. To nowadays, you get it's no longer tear gas, it's live bullets. So
What is peacefully now in our lovely country?
so yeah, there's also that, but that's going to happen, and I feel like it's a big step. Recently, when the journalists were beaten by the army, they sort of raised their voice, and it sort of was hard. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like
With musicians.
because again, you musicians, the artists that in Uganda that are the loudest is the musicians, definitely.
Musicians, the comedians, they're trying to figure it
the
out.
comedians.
Also.
Exactly.
I mean, anyway, I wish that communication was, because I'm hearing this for the first time.
Okay.
I'm hearing this for the first time. I wish I saw a tweet maybe last 2 days ago or something from Mackenzie, and he said the problem is there's still a lack of unity in the arts department in the arts section, because I'm sure he hasn't heard about that. We're trying to say open the thing, but then there's no. I don't know what the hashtag is. I was like, because I just feel like there's free Uganda entertainment. There's open up Ugandan entertainment. There's open up entertainment UG. So it's like, I just feel like, hey, all of us, and this is from the movie guys to the comedians to the actors in the theaters to the DJs to the artists. I feel like, hey, listen, this is what's happening on this day. Let's go nuts. This is the hashtag. This is just everything. This is what we should be doing. And I feel like when that happens, it's louder. It's more impactful. Instead of seeing a DJ tweet this hashtag and then someone else tweets this hashtag, and I'm lost because I'm like, okay, I'll retweet, I'll retweet, but I know what you're saying, but it's a different hashtag. But it's like, but yeah, I feel like it's necessary for the government. It's important for the government to start valuing what artists bring to the industry, to the country, to everything. You can't say. I mean, look at the power that Kenzo had last year when he was in Liberia.
Cote d'Ivoire? Where was he? Somewhere in, I think, West Africa. Yeah.
And he's like, listen, and he comes back and there's all this happening, and next thing you know, his tourism ambassador. You know what I'm saying? Like just that power, just knowing that you had people across the world worried about Kenzo's well-being. So I feel like that type of stuff should let the government know this is very important. I mean, their campaigns are very. What are their campaigns about? Music. So I just feel like they should start focusing more on entertainment.
Yeah, and the thing is, this has worked in places where governments have tried. If you look at what Nigeria did, for example, investing a lot in their music, and now it is clear, the level at which they are.
We say Nigeria, and many people don't know that, right? But I tell guys, I'm like, okay, skip Nigeria. Since you're late to the music thing, look at what's happening in Tanzania. Just next door.
I see.
Look at what's happening in Tanzania. The success of a Diamond Platnumz to go all the way to then having his own television station, although it's on suspension, right? Until I think he has like another 2 months left. But him going and building a whole network and saying, this is off music.
Yeah.
This is off music. So it's gotten to the point where people, and I think it's I saw somewhere where they said it's how do they term it? They said old governance with young young population or something. I think I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
it
yeah.
wrong.
So the disconnect between
There's
the actual
there's
leaders
a
and the people they are leading
crazy
themselves. Yeah,
disconnect.
yeah, yeah.
There's a crazy disconnect. It's terrible, but then it's something that should be looked into because it's very vital.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not going to be talking to your people anymore. You're not talking to them anymore.
True.
They're not having they even them they're trying to get through to the younger people. They're trying to guide the younger people in their families, in their houses and everything.
Yeah, yeah, and actually one of the other things is the and again I think Santana is the one who said this. It's the musicians in the end that are raising the children, right? When you leave your kid at home and you go to the office, they're listening to Mith. They're listening to they're listening
I
to
hope
to
they're
the
not listening
musicians.
to Myth, but
I mean, that's what's
there
happening.
might be a Kakaso that flies out.
When we were in school, yeah, we didn't have like we weren't allowed to have like electronics or radios or whatever, but we
Yeah,
had
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But what you do when you have that stuff is
Yeah.
listening to music. All the time you're not with your parents or you're not with teachers.
Yeah.
You're actually listening to music, and that is how you
That's
pick
true,
up on the
that's very
culture.
true.
That is how you start to say, maybe picking up girls this way makes sense. Doesn't
Yeah.
that is how you actually grow.
That is true, that is true.
And the government not paying enough attention to that is sort of ignoring what I personally think are sort of the biggest brand ambassadors for the country. If you want to call your country a brand, the
These are the
arts,
people.
yeah, the arts, there's the music industry.
I think South Africa has there's this brand South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. And in lockdown, they actively took they went ahead with this campaign, and I think I've forgotten the name of it. It's a campaign that I paid close attention to because the person who was behind it is someone I'm trying to work with. Is an artist I'm trying to work with. But then I looked at it and I'm like, yo, they have this minister speaking to a podcaster, launching this new song for brand South Africa.
Wow.
Like in my head, I'm like, are you not paying attention to what's happening everywhere else in the world? Everywhere else in the world, the most important people, they should. You see, this whole disconnect. We're calling it a disconnect, but then I think it's even deeper than that. This whole fight that's happening between the younger population and the older generation is like, I feel like it's so. We have to figure out a way of fixing that.
Let me bring up something that's also slightly more controversial.
Yeah.
The Mama Awards, was supposed to happen
Yes.
on, is it 20th Feb or 20th March?
20th Feb.
Feb, yeah. And they had to be postponed because, again, people hijacked the hashtag on Twitter and,
They hijacked the tourism.
Yeah. So the biggest conversation was, and people were saying, all other countries have issues, right? But then they get to do their stuff. They get to host this kind of awards. This is good for the music industry, but this is also good for the country, basically, if you are going to showcase it. And the biggest argument was, if we have the Ministry of Tourism, because the Ministry of Tourism was an official sponsor for the Mama, right? And the Ministry of Tourism is Ugandan government, which means it's the taxpayers' money. People are saying, it's not fair for Uganda, for us Ugandans, to pay for this show when there's all this political stuff going on and the government is not acknowledging it, right? Because by that time, again, people are getting kidnapped, people had just been shot at in Kampala and all that stuff. And but again, there was the conversation from the musicians, that and most of the
There were
other
various
celebrities,
conversations
that
from musicians.
we've not worked for a while. This is a good chance for us to make some money, but also more importantly, if this happens, it may not even be a Ugandan musician. I'm sure if this happens, because getting global audience, one or two musicians are definitely going to talk about these things that are happening, and so it was some sort of a big dilemma, or catch-22, where what is the right thing to do? Is it try to cancel this, or should we?
I'm not touching that. No, I feel like I actually said, I think so. There were a couple of discussions about that were online, and I wasn't understanding because also we did have the internet shutdown.
Yeah, true. That was actually,
And then we get back and we
funny,
get back our way
yeah.
via VPN, and I remember people were like, "Oh, you're doing a virtual,"
Yeah, it was going to be virtual anyway.
thing, but we don't have internet. And I'm like, I don't think people understood what they meant.
Ah, I see. I see.
Because virtual doesn't mean it's going to be online.
Oh, wait. Did it not?
No. All the award shows that we've seen from last year were all virtual.
And how what was set up?
Like you're not there.
Okay. Oh, virtual meant it could be on TV or something
It
else.
isn't. Also it's MTV based music awards.
I see. Makes
Why would
sense.
were they going to put it on YouTube so that YouTube can?
True. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah.
You know, so for me, I was like, well, I don't think people got that. But then I remember I was talking to someone and I said, so do musicians, what you just said, do musicians get a chance to get up and say, hey, I think it was the Mobile Awards in UK where Miss Banks' performance, she talks about police brutality, she talks about NSARS and police brutality in Uganda in her performance. I mean, we've seen Kendrick Lamar do that at the Grammys and talk Black Lives Matter. We've seen all these people do it. So I was like, okay, was that going to happen? I mean, I wasn't paying attention to them. I wasn't paying attention to them. I was just looking at it from a standpoint of what does this do for Uganda? And I thought, I mean, I don't even know if they're still happening because there was an article the other day that they are.
Yeah. So what MTV said, it's they're postponed
To May.
I had indefinitely. I didn't know if there was a date set yet. But
No, because there's an article that was in the papers the other day that said May
I see. Or maybe they'll happen. Maybe they were just waiting for things to
to go down.
cool off a
So
little bit.
anyway, with that, I don't know, man. I wasn't really invested. I was just, I just hope, I wished the people who were involved, because I saw a lot of Ugandan creators. I saw a lot of Ugandan people in the background, guys who were shooting all this extra content. And I just thought it was a great platform for them. Yes, we are going through some crazy stuff. But I just thought that, hey, maybe for that one weekend, one day, we could have this moment. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I see.
You know, it's because it's tricky, right? It's tricky.
No, true. It's not a
Who I
very
am,
straightforward thing.
am, what I represent, and what's going on, and you know.
No, true. I get that. So the other thing that I'm also very interested in is film, right?
Is which one, sorry?
Film movies.
Okay. Yes,
so I
yes,
did a short film thing when I was
is
at
it?
university.
You did?
Yeah, I did a short film thing. It
Okay.
it stopped there, but I did the
Oh,
short
what do you
film.
mean
also.
you did a
No,
short
I
film?
I
Like
did
you
a
shot-
short film course.
You shot
I did,
film course.
Then I did a
okay.
short film as well. So I did I
okay.
did a couple of those actually, and just the
Okay.
one. But the thing, what I was going to is the music in what
In the
films.
film, yes, yes,
and from at least from the guys I've worked with recently, it is still hard. For example, if I've listened to your album, and I like on top of my head, I can imagine some of that music working in, I know exact movies or series that I've watched where I can place a song in the background, one of your songs in the background. But most of these guys don't know how to have access to people like you, right?
I think that's that disconnect that I was saying with the industry. I think there's that problem. It's like, hey, we're all entertainers. How is it that? And it's so weird because you say this, and this week I was in Luke Man's DM saying, dude, man, what the hell? What are we doing? And he said, can you send me a link? Like literally this week on Tuesday. That was my discussion. But then for me, I would love for that to happen. I would love for the songs to start getting used in that space. I know film is a lot trickier than just putting your music out on the platforms, streaming platforms. It's a lot trickier. I think you have to get publishing and all that type of stuff. So if for instance, if I get publishing and I have pub in SA, it usually means that I can't get my stuff on East Music, if I'm not mistaken. There's something to do with publishing that usually blocks the type of stuff. And I think that's something we have to look into completely, because it would be good to actually have
Yeah.
a Ugandan film like what Lukman just released recently, and the music is in there. You know, that's 30 minutes of great content. But then also guys are like, yo, what song was that?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. This was the thing that Epas did with Queen of Katwe.
Yes.
Yeah. And
See, now Queen of Katwe, I think that was also done differently, but that they came here and
Yeah.
they searched for specific people and all this, and APAS got in, and I mean, even that, there's so much commotion about that, because there's some songs that were in. I saw a Ugandan. She's a Ugandan personality in South Africa, and she complained about the fact that in that movie there's Nigerian songs,
I see. Yeah.
and quite a bit, right? Quite a number of them. She was complaining about that, but then there's also Ugandans who were complaining about some of the Ugandan songs in that movie, because I think there was like one song that was like by this group that I think is the director's son's group. There was just so much commotion, and in my head I'm like, yo, can we just celebrate a win at
I know the lady who made the movie, Miranaya.
Yes.
And she's Ugandan. Is she Ugandan? I think she's Ugandan. Her husband is Ugandan, at least. I'm sure her husband is Ugandan. She has spent a significant amount of time here, and the film, of course, I was telling you about, she still ran it. She has sort of, she was extremely interested in growing the industry in East Africa, and she wanted to base in Uganda to grow the film industry in East Africa.
But it's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, but when it got to, and this was it wasn't like big budget, but Disney was funding the movie still.
That's a big budget.
Yeah.
That is Disney.
Ugandan, but Ugandan budget is definitely a big budget. Yeah, and she tried when because she would invite us to see the production process and stuff like that.
Nice.
You know, they really paid a lot of attention to anything they could get that's Ugandan. They used it, but some of the decisions they had to make were, again, because besides being like an art project, it's a business. You know, anything that made financial sense. They shot most of the stuff in South Africa. Did you know that? They shot most of the stuff in South Africa, again, because they could get discounts.
Yeah.
South Africa has that deal with filmmakers. You know, you get discounts shooting in South Africa, and that we don't have.
And I feel like that's something that we actually have to look into.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
With the industry, that's when it goes back to the government policies. It's like, but what are you actually doing for the industry? Because you can't have opportunities like that's happening. You can't have these guys come in and shoot that scene for Black Panther, and we really don't get acknowledged.
True. Yeah.
You know, like there's certain things that just have to be tightened. Oh no. If I went on a rant, it would have to be on my own platform, because I don't want your thing shut down.
No, I don't mind, but also here's the thing, right? Most people are saying that the artists themselves are partly to blame. You know, there is and again, the thing I was actually bringing, the point I was trying to make is, for me as a filmmaker, I find it hard to identify who to talk to when I like a song, right?
Talk to the artist.
Yeah, but the artists are not accessible. I mean, maybe you're accessible, you're a nice guy, but you're one of the few nice accessible artists.
No. So you see, I think people like having a lot of conversations on Twitter with artists.
Yeah, but
it's not a good idea. It's never a good idea. I think for me, I just understood that there's some people who like having conversations on Twitter. But the highest number of Ugandans are on Facebook.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The highest number of Ugandans are on Facebook, and a lot of artists are using Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, because the highest Ugandans are there.
Yeah.
So you want to get your message there, but then Instagram is like more of a visual, whatever, worldwide and everything. So you're either hitting them up on Instagram or you're hitting them up on Facebook.
Yeah, but also one of the experiences, for example, from my end is the thing we had with the music. So we had Seneli said.
Yes.
We talked with him, and we accepted that, use the intro to, as the theme song for the podcast. We published the podcast. 2 days later, Google tells us, you guys have stolen someone's music.
That's the publisher.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we reached out to Nelly said, but Nelly said, this is now out of my hands, right? And I feel like it's the same with with most of the other musicians. I can reach out to you and you can tell me, take the music, but maybe you've licensed it out to someone, and so my movie can't show in South Africa because it's showing music because you don't own the copyright in South Africa. You licensed it out to some other guy, and you know it's that sort of chaos that makes me go for stock music on the internet that's free.
But then I feel like that is that specific issue is would be happening worldwide. It's not. These things are not exclusive.
Oh yeah.
To Uganda.
Yeah. No, so
These things are not exclusive to Uganda. I just feel like what it is hey. So since we've communicated here and we've got this going, and you're getting ready to publish the Saint Nelson interview. Hey Saint, can you contact your guys?
I see.
How do we get this done? Whatever. There has to be a way where that can happen.
I see. Okay, no. So I think it's definitely possible if you have a Queen of Capre budget. Yeah. But again, if I'm starting, I've all my money put in the film already.
You're not contacting them and saying, yeah, pay them. You're contacting them and saying, hey, let's figure it out. Let them have it. Let them use it.
No. So for what I'm saying is, for the sake, for example, I nearly said, yeah. If I put
are you saying this for a movie, or are you saying this?
No, for the podcast. I think it's almost the same thing. So okay, let's say for a movie, right? Mm-hmm. We talk with Nelly said in the bar. I get him just the right stuff, and I get him there to agree, right? And he agrees, right? So the next day, when I realized that the deal wasn't supposed to be, Nelly said,
you literally said I get him the right stuff. That's not a good idea.
When I realized that he has to talk to the other guy, the idea is, unless I'm willing to pay him to make that extra effort to reach out to the right people, it's sort of not, it's too much work for him.
But then why don't you also then just clear that? Because if you're putting it out and you're probably going to get paid, I mean, there's so many levels to it, right? The business thing, there's so many levels to it, right?
Yeah, true.
You're going to get paid. Why don't you clear that?
No. So the money is not the problem. I'm saying is, again, the thing is when you're, like, our industry right now is still very, very young. And
it's no longer young. When it's
I mean, the film industry, I would say, is still really, really young.
And I don't know, man. People keep laughing at Hugo Wood, but I feel like that's where we need to go now, joking.
I actually like some of that stuff. But
I've never seen anything. I just keep seeing the short clips.
Okay. Who Killed Captain Alex is... I
haven't seen it.
It's a thrill. You won't get out of the chair. You won't literally get out of the chair. It's not one of those movies where you can make popcorn while playing. You see that. Yeah.
That's a lie. That has to be a lie.
But it's really interesting. It's funny. That's the thing. I think the guy went for... He was trying to do action, but the product came out... majestic comedy that you can't you can rewatch over and over.
I'll definitely love to see that.
But what I was saying, about the ages, if we start making it a thing to make Ugandan movies with Ugandan music, right? Mm-hmm. Ugandan movies sort of backed with Ugandan music. I feel like we need that. Musicians need to formalize a place. If I like a song, there's some sort of association where I go to and put in a formal request, and then the musician can say yes or no. I can talk to him on the side, but then tells me, I've heard what you're saying, put in the request here, and then I can formally do that.
That would be better.
That's
maybe I'd have to talk to Lukman and say, hey, no, I'm joking, but I think that's the move actually.
I don't know. I've watched some of his work, Lukman. Now, one of the other things that's interesting about music is sort of its international factor, right? And Ugandans today, if you, for example, if you have an Apple Music subscription, the top 100, sort of about maybe 30 at most. 30 songs are Ugandans. Yeah. The majority of them are Nigerian.
Okay. Because I saw people complaining about that actually last year, quite a lot. I usually don't pay attention to that. I think they were complaining about the top 10 in Uganda. There was a time when it was like 6 Omale, 2 Thames. No, 3 Thames, the number 1 is 2 Mr. Sound. And I was like, oh. But I don't know, man. You see, people have to understand that, like, Ugandans consume things quite differently.
How's that?
Quite differently. So,
okay.
We're looking at Apple Music, How many guys here have an iPhone?
Yeah, true.
You have an iPhone?
True. Yeah, we all don't. Yeah, okay, that makes
You know,
sense.
so
Yeah.
there's that. But then also, artists have this thing where they're like, listen, I have a hit song, and I can make some money off it from a corporate endorsement or whatever. So hey, put it on this platform for free downloads. Put it on this you know, and let me just go nuts and get my money, and because people want to get their money. You know, when the bars are open, you see guys do 4 clubs in one night. Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday they'll do something. Tuesday they're doing something. Wednesday, it's like it's nuts, right? Because they're like, hey man, I need to get my money right now. And that's how the majority of Ugandans consume
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's like you want your music playing on radio. You want your music on those platforms that put up the lowest quality for download, right? And you want these WhatsApp things just flying around and all that. So when people say, "Oh my God," you know, I mean, I think my album was 11 on the top 10 when it came out, and I was like, "What does that mean?" It's like,
I see.
where's the bag?
I see, yeah.
You know, but then I mean, I'm looking at
Apple
it
is not.
different, right? But then that's the thing about the consumption in UG, and I think even the Nigerian industry had to go through that before they went into this monetizing it properly. So if you're saying the industry is young, maybe it's young and people are
That's
looking
why
at this
we are
stuff,
going.
right?
Okay.
Because the Nigerian industry had this, if I'm not mistaken, they had this pirate market.
Yeah.
Where they would send the music to first. Yeah. And you see many of them say it in their interviews, and they say, hey, I had this song that I thought was the song, so we took it to these guys and they
distribute
push
for
it,
us
and when that happens and it's the biggest song, then you have your performances, then you have it on radio, then you have it on TV, then the corporates come in and say, hey, we want to use a song for this and that and this, right? So I think it's just we consume music differently. So
Apple is not the right metric. Basically.
no, I mean, yeah, you know, I keep saying, make sure your music is there. Make sure your music is everywhere. I met one South African rapper. He's retired rapper now, but at that time he was super active. Proverb, right? I met him and I remember we were talking and he's like, "Yo, do you have the album?" And I said, "Actually, I had just bought his album that day." So he's like, "Come with me." So we go to his car, and he opens the boot, and he has 4 boxes in there.
Yeah.
His first album, The Book of Proverb, manuscript, the 3rd album, I've forgotten the name, and then Forthright. He had like the CDs there and he said you have to constantly promote. You have to constantly promote. Right? So it's like, yeah, make sure your music is everywhere by all means. He could have told me just check on a Tidal or whatever, my album is probably there. But he was like, no, the CD is here. You have to constantly promote because you don't know who was it.
Yeah.
The next guy hasn't heard your shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know? So just make sure your music is everywhere, but then don't make it seem like. Also, understanding what the Tidals and the iTunes and all these other platforms do is very important. Because I remember we sat down, the Tidal guys, when they came to launch, we sat down with them and some artists were like, but okay, you know, they didn't understand that, hey, you put your song on Tidal and you promote it. Right, and you push it, you make sure people go and stream it, and that's how you end up getting money. But they were like, so I put it on and then I promote. It's like, why don't you promote it for me? You know, so there's always that, but people need to learn that stuff. But you know, in Uganda, people consume music.
I see. Yeah. So that, for me, that sort of that approach to distributing makes sense for pop music, right? Shiba's music, because again, for me, and I don't want to say, like, I like Shiba a lot, right? But like, I don't see value in purchasing her single, you know,
damn, bro.
because I want to listen to it for,
Not
say,
even
2 weeks. Yeah, I want to listen to it for 2 weeks and listen to the next thing, basically, yeah? But
I'm
I
not
want to
saying
be in
this
the bar.
stuff, by the
Yeah,
way.
no, that's me, that's me, that's me, right? But I want to be in the bar, right? I want to be in the bar, and Shiba's music is playing in the background, right?
Okay.
So it makes sense for her to
The
invest.
Shibaholics had better.
No, I'm a big fan.
Leave
I'm a
me
big fan.
alone.
I'm a Shibaholic myself.
Shibaholics
I'm just
get
saying,
this
this is. So the thing is, it makes sense for Shiba to invest in getting her music to my ears so I can appreciate it better in the club. Yeah. But there is music which it's an individual experience. Yeah. And again, this is what I was saying. For me, I felt with most of the music on your album, right? It's not music I'm going to listen to in a group. I mean, you can listen to on a pot of Malwa and, you know, with your buddies, right? Yeah. But
I thought I was more sophisticated, baby. That's in a pot of Malwa.
Let's have beers.
Thank you.
You can listen to it with a
Damn
crate of
it.
Nile. Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah, and sort of, yeah, the vibe is there, right? But, you know, it's also music I can afford to pay for
pay for,
because
yeah.
I can listen to it on a drive, you
On a
know.
drive,
yeah.
yeah.
On a plane, you're flying to the US 13 hours, and this is the kind of, you're not going to, you know, be nodding to Shiba. Yeah. I mean,
No,
you can, but
and you know what's
you
funny?
probably won't be.
You know, going back to like what we were saying earlier, creating the music. So, guys, there'll be moments when guys come in my car and they know I'm working on something because there are these particular albums I listen to, and they're like, "Oh, so you're working on something?" Like there are these albums I listen to, and I think that's why when you ask me what am I working on, you know, I said I don't know because I'm still listening to my stuff, Navia's stuff, and those albums which I listen to when I'm creating are also in there.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know where I am right now, but then but when you talk about driving, because I also just like.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's I used to listen to when I was in secondary school. I used to listen to Eminem, and a lot of people didn't connect. I mean, it seems like he's complaining in all his music. Right? A lot of people just didn't like it. But for me, when I'm not around people, sort of when we're not listening as a group, it is the music that made sense to me. You know, it is. I couldn't listen to. I mean, obviously, I could listen to maybe Megadi when I'm around people who enjoy Megadi. But
again, Megadillions is the one saying it.
No,
I don't know what his fans are called, but
but as an individual, I'm just saying there's a difference. It's true. The music is different.
No,
The music definitely has a difference, right? And it's the same sort of, and so the way you distribute these musics is different, right? If you know that you can make all your money back by getting as much attention to the music as possible, so you distribute it that way. You invest in getting it to people's ears, right? But if you know that, you know, this is music people should sit down and, you know, appreciate in their mood, those people need to pay you to access that music, right? And you know, it's sort of,
I think, you know, it's one of those things which, because, so how do people know that they want to listen to my music if I haven't given them freebies?
yeah, I mean, you can. That's the thing about the album. You can release a thing in the club on a single. You know, you release in the club and then let them know that what's coming is hot. Yeah, what's coming is hot. Basically, that's how it works. And they know that they have to invest in getting the actual.
I
catalog.
released Amen, and I think I'm Soiji Interlude as we were going to Nyege Nyege in 2018. That's what, because so my birthday is always in Nyege Nyege. I hate it. September 8th is my birthday.
I see. That's,
So we released on September 7th, but we're driving to Nyege Nyege. You know, and the whole day, so all these guys are tagging me and everything. And it was good, but then in my head I was like, when I came back to do the radio runs, everyone was like, yeah, but these songs are not like radio songs. One was just me just rapping over traditional drums. Then the other one was like damn near a gospel song. It's even one inspirational song last year at the Hip Hop Awards. You know, so it's like people just didn't know where to place them, and yet all the other times it was Winner, it was A Mama, it was Fire, it was, you know, like all these other big songs. So they're like, you know, but I think for me, I'm also trying to show growth with every release. I'm trying to show guys,
I see.
I'm really just trying to grow up.
And I think maybe that's a trick. I'm a big fan of Kendrick, but I'm starting to wonder whether Kendrick is actually showing growth or it's just his trick. So Kendrick, it's now how many years before he released? 2017. It's now 3 years, right? He hasn't released apart from that Black Panther thing, but he hasn't released like a real album.
What did he release? When
That's Damn. Damn is
Damn. But then when did he release Good Kid, Mad?
Still, it's around 2-3 years.
No, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah,
but
2-3 years.
But then you see, it's like also for him, his is different, right? It's the lyrical content, but then it's also the production. So it's something that we were trying to do with this with my album, where it's like, we have to find that sweet spot between these traditional sounds and this fucking hip hop that we love. Like we just have to find that sweet spot where it just comes. This is like 18, rated 18. I can cuss a little bit.
You can do whatever you want.
You can beep that one. I want curse one, please. Just like.
No, it's fine.
No,
we cuss
like,
on the show. We cuss on the show.
Yeah. So I think we're trying to find that sweet spot, but for him, it's even different. He's like using this jazz samples and then trying to put them with hip hop, and then he's using this live instrumental. So you're saying you thought I had like a band? He's probably using a band.
So I think so.
So with that one song, which is just the beat is made on computer. That one song, I'll knock that out in 15 minutes, even less. Right? But then a song which has many elements, like the Giovanni Chiinji song that I'm talking about, we were in there from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. recording one song. And my verse, I only had 2 verses. I got called back. They kicked me out of my own studio session. Then they called me back in and say, now just be like, hey, mama. So I say that, and they say, okay, go. I was like, this is my song. So they kicked me out. But again, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. So it's like different. And I can imagine now with a Kendrick, it's like, with everything that's happened in States just last year alone.
Is it just a trick to starve us from the music so we can anticipate him more?
Well, there's also that.
Yeah, that's what I feel now, because this is also that. It is, people like.
But then, do you want him to release every other time so you become bored of him, like Drake? Drake released the other day. Many people.
Yeah, I mean, not Drake maybe, but still, what he's doing is
even
also,
J. Cole. I'm more J. Cole, but then he's like.
Yeah. Well, okay. Whatever. I still feel like, there has to be that balance, how, not do Drake thing, don't keep, populating sort of the airwaves, the sound waves with your music.
With the music.
Yeah, but still don't, because now, I mean.
Because he doesn't even do features, does he?
That's also the weird thing. Why? J. Cole wasn't.
Yeah, J. Cole did the other time.
But then he did that project where he went and featured.
Yeah, I don't know. I also don't do features. And I was being asked about that. It's just that I would love to, but then there's some songs which have been asked to be on, and I'm like, oh, come on.
I see.
Where, like, I just feel like some of the subject matter on some of the songs that have been asked to be on, I just feel like I'm not there anymore. I'm not in that headspace anymore. I see. So people just see that I'm hot at the moment, and they're like, "Yo, hey, I have a song." I'm like, I'm not there anymore.
I see.
I'm like I said, I want that situation where it's like, who should we listen to? Listen to this guy, And if I start doing this song, I don't know, man. Many artists attack things differently. If you're scarce, you anticipate more.
I agree. So yeah, let's also, I think this would be probably the last one, is when you consider income from music versus, all other incomes, how do you rate it? Is it like 90%? Is it 10%? How much do you make from music to support your life rather than how much do you make from life to support your music?
Bro, music in UGA, you can have... You can have a show that can change your life. You can have a song that can change your life. You know what I'm saying? It's like music is so hectic. It's like you literally, if you have the right team around you, you can have a song that will change your life. I think one of the dopest things is what's his name? The kid, Easy, Tumbi's the sound.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah.
He's good. He's good. That song has changed his life.
Yeah.
You can have a situation like what's his name? Damn.
What's the song?
No, I know the sound he makes, but I don't know his name. I've forgotten his name. John Black. I was going to say.
I knew you were going to say John Black for some reason. Yeah.
No, like John Black,
exactly.
like right before he hit.
I
Remember,
remember
because
his time. Yeah.
he got that deal with Pepsi, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I think his song was Connect or something like that, and then Pepsi was doing that campaign for 5 months about connecting,
and then they got him. Yeah. Okay.
You know,
I see
so you can. Music is different, man. Music is so hectic. Look at Big Joe's situation. Party after party.
Oh yeah, nice.
Like we thought it was over with. Then Arsenal signs Party, right? And they use that. And he has signed. I think the song has been signed to Sony UK or something like that. So that's just. Yeah. No, your life changes. Music is different, man. Music is different. If you get it right like this, it's so hectic.
I see. Isn't that though? Because I know. So what most musicians do is, at least he makes one song that he can be hired to perform on weddings. So he knows that at least a month. And Santana was running me through the numbers last time. If you plan your music well and you have specific music for each category, you can have one song for a wedding or
and the weddings are so nuts because the first 3 weddings you're going to be like 1.5 1. After that, if they start calling you for more, because they're only calling you because they've seen you on the others, and the song has caught, and you have a video, and you have. By that time, remember Navi with Njogedeza?
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought he did. I thought it was also like a business decision.
No. He needs to explain that. But he was so worried for me to hear that song. It was so funny. That time, we were actually on the flight to Nairobi that started the Ugandan project.
Oh, I see.
So whenever that was, because I remember we're on the flight and he's like, man, I have this song, but I don't want you to hear it. Oh. So we're on the plane and I'm like, yo, can you? So he plays the thing for me. And I'm like, damn. So this is what I said, this is a hit song. But we literally leave the country, and when we came back, it had been released by his team. They had released it and it was on radio and everything. We listened to it, we came back, he shot the video, and you know how he releases, like every after 3 months he releases a song? He didn't release until like September. And even then it did matter. Because the song was just picking up, because now weddings are back on and everything. And I think that whole year he had like 3 songs, which is like, he was like, but again, that life-changing. So music is one of those where on your other side, the other stuff you do, you will have a set fee. Hey, we're giving you this much, whatever. Music, literally in 1 month, you can make close to like 50M in a day of a song. Yeah. You can sign for 50M on a day. So it's hectic. It's one of those situations where you can never know what's going to happen. You can never know what's going to happen. Who would have thought this is how we do? This is how we do. And that one was like a hip hop song, right? I was like hip hop.
Yeah.
Crazy. So music is different.
I see.
You can't. I don't know, but I think being in the lockdown has taught guys that, because all this not having the stage and all that.
Yeah.
And people don't know how big a song is. Even Tumbi's The Sound was released in April, and I guess like 4 months after, that's when
starts making stuff.
Yeah, that's when it made its career. So it's like you can never know what's going to happen, but what the lockdown taught us is like having other options for income to come in is crucial.
Yeah. So what's again, to conclude, what's the legacy? You know, what is the myth? What is the one thing you're going to do and you're like, yeah, this is what the myth was put on earth to do. You know, I'm ready to die now.
Aye. We're all put on earth to
No fun.
put back into it with kids or whatever. No,
Okay.
I think as far as the music goes, man. As far as the music goes, I'm just. I feel like the story, like, bro. I'm just trying to. I don't know. I'm just trying to release the best music I can release. I can release right now. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to. With the Ugandan album, I feel like there's more. There's more to it. We haven't even tapped 1% of the potential of that album. So there's more to it that we're trying to do with it. I hope people just enjoy the journey. But I mean, most definitely there's that. There's the Soyuji brand. There's a lot that we're trying to do with that. So hopefully when those things connect, people can be like, okay, we get it. And I'll be like, now that you got it, goodbye, you guys. I've gone to Tororo to relax. You know, but yeah, honestly, like, yeah. I feel like if those two, if the brand connects the right way, I feel like, yeah, we'll be telling people goodbye.
Wow, nice. I see. I'm a big fan, and I'm now going to, now that I've talked to you, so I have some background on what you're actually doing with the music. I'm going to go and give it a second ear.
Let's shoot a short film.
No, we're going to do it definitely. Let's just plan and do it. Let's plan and do it.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mith. Thanks.
No, appreciate it.
Thanks a lot
guys.
for accepting our invite.
Big talks.
Yeah, this has
Big
been.
conversation.